Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Welcome to episode 103 of the OG Technically Trek. I am your host, Dave Prime. Over there on my right, your left, or whatever, is my witchy captain, Katie. How is it going, my dear?
I am fabulous. This week is a good
Woohoo.
week.
Yeah, good news from the doctor front for you. So yay on that. So
Yes, I do not need an ankle operation, so I am very, very pleased.
excellent. And so yeah, I just wanted to just kind of jump right into things right now and say, but just to give you guys a little heads up if you're new to the channel, I say one thing that makes this technically Trek more unique than some of the other Star Trek podcasts, because there's a lot of them out there. And saying, I don't know why I started doing this, but it just kept on going and going and going. So why not keep on talking about it? And saying, but what makes us different from the others is we encourage live participation with our viewers. Is a you can click the link down below for the StreamYard, and that'll give you an opportunity to either a pop in on video, or if you're just a little camera shy, you can just use your microphone so we can hear your lovely voice to get your feedback on what we're discussing tonight. And yeah, say, but if you feel more comfortable doing the YouTube chat, we'll randomly flash comments on the screen as we
Oh
progress.
yeah, I'm behind
But
on that.
what's that?
I'm behind on that, aren't I?
You're behind. I'm not wearing my headphones tonight, so you're not behind a what?
I'm behind on flashing the comments. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Like
It's
a
the I
script is not
Yeah, I
good.
kind of do those too, but yeah, since I got my script on my screen saying that that's not on the forefront right now. But before we get into that, last week we introduced a new partnership. I am a brand ambassador for a new product, and saying, but a lot of you, young and old, might remember when you were a kid, your mom or your father or grandparent was cooking in the kitchen, making fresh cookies, and you just really wanted to lick the spoon. And I said, you can do that without the guilt of getting salmonella. They say DOiiiCH. See, they got a variety of different cookie flavors to get. Say this one's birthday cake. They got chocolate chip. They got what the fudge brownie, and the one I haven't sampled just yet is basic bitch. I'm
Oh,
really
you have
intrigued.
to sample that. You have to sample
Well,
that.
I'm actually well. You can just eat it straight out of the jar, which I've already started snacking on the birthday cake again. Or you can actually just throw it at 325 Fahrenheit for about 7-8 minutes in the oven, and then bam, you got some cookies. But if you use the code ENGAGE at DoiiiCH if I had the banner up here, yeah, you get 20% off your order. And I don't know if they're still doing it, but they had a buy two get one free deal going on. So I mean, you can really score on a pretty good deal with that 20% off order on top of that. So unlike my previous partnership, saying that there's like some products you can't use the discount on. DOiiiCH, they only have the four flavors right now, so you can get it on all four flavors. So yeah, deutschfoods.com/engage. And that's one thing I like to say. I was able to use a good Star Trek um, code word for
I
that
do
discount.
like that.
So yay.
Although I've never. I mean, I know it's a cultural thing and that, but I've never understood the need to eat cookie dough. I've never understood that. I tried it when I was younger, and so many of my friends also liked eating raw cookie dough, and I'm just like, why? It's just I've just never been into it. It's just
Raw
something that
cookie dough, I, raw cookie dough it still is delicious. It doesn't. I mean, of course, without the egg, it doesn't quite taste have the same taste, but I mean, it still tastes pretty good. You can just right out of the jar. I mean, it is a rather small jar, but I mean, it goes for $8. So for $8 for however many ounces this is, like 5 ounces. I mean, if you small scoops, it makes a decent number of cookies. So it's pretty damn good. I like it. So
you
we
see,
just have to
I
wait
would
and
buy
see.
it and I would make actual cookies with it and put them in the oven.
You know, say, well, I haven't. haven't opened up the what the fudge or the basic bitch yet. So yeah, these two are definitely going to try it in the oven. I just need to get some parchment paper.
Ooh,
What?
mix two of them together to see how it turns out.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Oh,
Let's see. We'll got to
sorry,
figure out which.
I got really excited then.
Well, just gotta figure out which ones to mix and try. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to try out. So tune in next week.
The
Mhm.
birthday cake with the what the fudge brownie.
There you go. That works. Yeah, because the birthday cake, it's definitely got the birthday sprinkles in them. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
it,
I think that'd go really nice with the what the fudge brownie. Nom
yeah.
nom.
I mean, even like the basic bitch. I mean, saying that would
Mm.
hopefully the pod's gone long enough that YouTube won't dox me for saying that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, we're already at the season finale of Starfleet Academy, which they did wrap it up really good. They left things pretty much all the loose ends got tied up, and everything turned out kosher for everybody at the end, except for Nus Braka, which, spoiler alert, he did not die at the end of the episode, so he's could be coming back not next season, but in future seasons if Paramount gives it the green light. So it'd be nice to see him come back. Let's see something about the fact that
Thank you, Phil.
yeah, see,
I'm not alone.
see, I did it a lot when I was a kid, and I turned out fine. I think maybe
I
I was
mean, I
trying to be
was fine when I tasted it. I just didn't like it. But yeah, it's always
yin yang
giving
cookies.
me the ick.
Oh yeah, Jim. Yes, you got to watch. I mean, it. Like I've said, this season has definitely been a roller coaster. It's been episode 5 was the Big Sam episode, which again it this show's catered towards teenagers. It's the teeny boppers, the 90210 type audience, and saying so it kind of yeah. I mean but as even though it was roller coastering, it was going on a slight incline, and it culminated with the final episode, which turned out pretty darn good, I think. But like just
Oh, absolutely. I just disagree with your assessment.
well, well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that. But
In all
I mean,
honesty,
there's
the only difference between this and, like, say, Voyager, for
Mhm.
example, the only difference is the ages of the
Character.
cast and the characters. Other than that, and obviously it takes place at the academy, but that's the only difference. But because of that one tiny, tiny difference, everyone's losing their shit about it. And they're just like, oh, this is no good. This is just Nana 210 and all that. And I'm just like, whoa, hold on a minute. You're only saying that because you don't like the fact it's not older adult. Whoa, Jesus Christ. See, even my webcam is interested in this.
Yeah.
But no, the only reason people are having problems, one of the biggest problems people are having with it is they're making assumptions on the show because of the ages of the characters and where it takes place. But I'm sorry, the content of the show is definitely not aimed at youngsters, because the things that happen, they happen in Voyager, Next Gen, even COS. It, it's it happens. All of these events, relationships, exploration of the characters, weird scenarios, even pranks to some degree. They've happened at some point all the way through Star Trek, but people are just making assumptions and they're not giving it a go because of those assumptions, and they're going into it with their mind clouded, and they're looking for things to pick at. Zach, my darling, right? I just need to stop everybody there.
Well, look at Zach's other comment.
Right from, oh, I know you are, my darling, but I just need to, wrap this little spiel in a nice little bow. Right from the very first episode of Star Trek. What was it, 60 years ago?
Almost, yeah. That's when it was first started. That's when it first started getting woke. It was way back then. Yeah.
Exactly. Star Trek is the epitome of wokeness, and it has been since day dot. And so anybody that's complaining that Star Trek's been getting woke with Discovery and now Academy, they can piss off, because there's nothing woke about it. It just is what Star Trek is, and that's that. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Bring the folks that are back on stage. So we got 6 more slots available if anyone is welcome to join in. But we got Zach and Travis, the 2 of our regulars, on. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I am surviving. I'm doing well. I'm saying, like, kind of go off script for a minute. I'm saying I blasted through my resentment inventory for my 4th step in AA. I did it in 9 days.
No.
It took me months to get through that, and it just took me. I went right through it, and I'm almost done with my fear inventory. Going to sit down with my sponsor this weekend and get shit done. See, I've been sitting on this for too long. I'm almost 2 years sober. I had 22 months as of yesterday.
Yay!
Yeah, what is today?
When you say sponsor, does that mean that he pays you or you pay him?
No, this is a different kind of sponsorship. This is like a one-on-one thing. But no, it's 22 months today is when I got sober. So
that's
when I put away.
That's a big milestone.
Yeah, but 24 months is a better month. So say 22, you don't get a chip for that. But
24, 2 years. It's coming. Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But one of the first things I noticed is the way, as cool as the cold open was for this episode, I think that could have been a perfect way of ending the show as a cliffhanger for last week, even though it did end in a bombastic moment when Nala walked in to Caleb's mom.
Wait,
and
what?
Caleb's mom was just like freaking out, and then end of the episode. Ending the episode with Braka blowing up the Athena, I think might have held more of a punch. And like with the season 3, episode 9 of Picard, ended with the Enterprise pulling out of space dock and warping away. That was a freaking awesome moment. Same. And I'm seeing
it gave you goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
When you see if anybody who grew up watching TNG and stuff and everything else, if you were old Star Trek fan and stuff, watching what you just said, seeing the Enterprise coming out of the hangar bay and at the museum, and just
that's right, yeah.
doing its classic, nacelles light up and then stepping into warp and stuff and everything, and you hear the score. It just gave you goosebumps. It is just like, oh, and like you said too. I mean, about the thing, but
yeah, the score was chef's kiss. I mean, just like the season 3 finale, Best of Both Worlds. Ron Jones is bump bump bump. It's just like you got goosebumps just talking about it. That's how music can be a powerful tool. Music can be an unseen character in a show. It's what really grabs the audience.
And I like how they use music in the show. I mean, that is one thing that I have always loved about Trek. It was the opening music to
Everybody run.
It was the opening music.
Big howdy from Texas.
First Contact.
Howdy,
what
howdy,
drew
howdy.
me into the music. What drew me into the movie. So, you know, ever since that moment, I was drawn into First Contact, and it was the first time I'd ever been drawn into Trek. So I've always appreciated the music and the uses of it, as well as the lighting as well. Because in that entire first scene in First Contact, the lighting was perfection, and it was used really well.
It made the story, definitely.
Exactly, and it set the tone for the entire movie. The music for the intro, and then the lighting and the scene itself. So it's one thing that I've always very much appreciated in Trek is how they use light and sound. And it was done very, very well throughout this series, throughout this season, sorry.
Oh, and not to deviate too far off the topic of the episode, but when Generations first came out in theaters, that's when I was going to college for video production. And I actually did a report on the lighting aspect of it, saying that the one scene in particular that comes to mind talking about lighting is when Troy visits Picard in his quarters, when she discovers that what's been troubling Picard is the fact that his brother and nephew were burned to death in the fire. And he'd say he's hiding in the shadows, he's in the darkness, and Troy's like in the light from the Armagosa star, which is about to go supernova. But that just kind of gives the yin and the yang to saying he's retreating, he's hiding, he's not ready to admit the fact that all the men in his family are dead. So at the time he hadn't boinked Crusher yet, so boinked. but yeah, he says like there's not going to be any more Picard. That Renee's dead. It's like that's it. I'm done. I'm too old to have kids.
Well, yeah, but it also emphasized the darkness that he carries very stoically within him constantly as well. And
I might be done with this thing before the episode's done. I don't put it away.
Was starting to crack at that point because he had been through so much, and then he'd lost his family. He ended at that point anyway. He was the last of his family line, and Deanna was the light that allowed that crack in his armor to, you know, be safe.
Well, see, I won't flash it on the screen. I don't know if he wants to blast it on there or not, but something Dylan mentioned, just that's awesome news for you to have that kind of weight loss in that short amount of time, man. That's just phenomenal.
Oh, congratulations, Dylan.
That's a big achievement there, Dylan.
Absolutely. Yeah, congratulations.
And for everybody, the world's tiniest violin.
I've got a smaller one somewhere, but it's that small I can't see it. It's like a nano violin. Yeah, it's a nano violin.
But I gotta clear my throat for a second.
Romulus lived a few hundred years. Could he knock up Laris? I can't see. I'm blind.
Laris,
yeah.
Yeah, that on again, off again relationship. After Shaban dies and say, "Oh, why did you just hook up with Laris there, Picard? Good grief." But
I liked how this episode opened. I did.
Oh yeah.
the flashbacks, and then it basically carried on from like the cliffhanger of last week's episode. I do like that.
Yeah, and how Anisha just properly lost her shit when she's actually saw him again. She's like, no, we got to get out of here. She's ready to grab Caleb and just run.
Yeah, now that was expected.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though she'd just been patched up from an injury, but you know, it was expected, and I think Nala expected it as well, but still she didn't let it stop her, and she was basically straight down to business. But you could still see the empathy within her, and that's one thing that I've always loved about Nala. She does come across as very like blasé and all airy fairy and overly casual, but she has got such a big heart, but she's also got a will of iron as well. She has a lot of strength, and even when she seems to be coming across as very like airy fairy and overly casual and blasé and all that jazz, she is still very serious. But she doesn't come across that way because that is just who she is. But I think as well, she uses that as kind of like a red herring sort of thing. She uses that to her advantage at times, because so many people will think, oh, well, she's not taking this seriously. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And then just bam, she will say something and they're like, oh, holy hell yeah. She has been paying attention. She does know what she's talking about. And her logic is sound. And so, yeah, she uses a natural personality to her advantage at times. And I think that is absolutely brilliant.
One thing though, that the first thing I thought of is when, well, two things. One, when Nala gave like a code phrase to the doctor that he picked up immediately is something that they discussed in the past, was patching in his mobile emitter, which we finally get to see for the first time all season. It does look a little different, so I guess in 1,000 years maybe he has made some slight modifications to it, but to keep it going and all that. But the first thing I thought of was I forget the name of the episode, that where they were fighting the Kazon and using holography to create the image of other ships flying around, even though that they couldn't obviously give life signs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it kind of gave the, what was that, Travis?
Basic part 1.
Oh, was it
Basics
was it on basics?
It was basics part 1.
Okay, sounds right. But yeah, so it just gave the illusion that the ship was destroyed, which it worked. But I mean, of course, they did take some damage. But then when the doctor gets pulled out again, he's talking in gibberish, which that also kind of ties into DOiiiiCH, I think, a little bit, because when they're talking
Yeah.
in metaphor, they didn't know what the frick was going on there.
Yeah, I have flashbacks to that as well, like both of those things with the holography and the weird speech. But yeah, I think it was used well.
Oh yeah.
And as for the mobile emitter, it looks like he's lost the outer casing, because I remember a couple of it, like, was it one episode? I think B'Elanna, an episode of Voyager, B'Elanna actually opened it up, and it looked a lot like that. I can't remember what episode it was, or am I thinking?
Maybe,
No,
maybe that's something. Maybe that's something we'll have to look into a little deeper, because all the other people online and whatnot, York Hillenbrand, for big thing there, is just like, yeah, this is what it looked like in Voyager. This is what it looked like in Starfleet Academy. So I mean, the outer shell is the same, but it's just the interior looks a little different.
Yeah, I think that the front piece has come away, because I'm sure that in one episode, like early on when the Doctor got the mobile emitter, B'Elanna opened it up rather than just tweaking it while it was on him or whatever, and she took a piece of the casing off, and I'm sure it looks like that. I could be making this up in my head. I could be envisioning something that I could be thinking that should have happened at some point, but didn't. But it could have happened. I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to do a full rewatch of Voyager from when he gets his mobile emitter now.
Well, hopefully it doesn't take too long for you to figure it out, but
yeah.
But the before, say, now Paul Giamatti, I mean, he, even though he Nus Braka, I mean, was sold up as being this really big, great villain. It kind of started to fall flat towards the end, but here at the beginning of the episode, he was just eating up every bit of camera time that he could, and it just like pops in on the captain's chair. Just, who else do you think it would be? And yeah, just all that accumulation of everything, pretty much. But when,
I'm sure I've said on a previous episode, or it could have been backstage, I can't remember, but I know for a fact that I have said this to you and Travis at the very least. I've said before that Braka reminds me of a whiny toddler.
which it kind of, that came full circle at the end of the episode, when it was like, say, you're dealing with a child. This guy's stuck in the past when he was a little kid. But
yeah, and it really did show in this episode as well. I mean, it showed before, and that's why I said it reminds me of a whiny toddler, but it really did show in this episode, especially when that part of him was exposed.
But when Anisha told Nala that if anything happens to my son, I am going to kill you, and Aki didn't skip a beat, saying, if anything happens to your son, you'll be doing me a favor.
Yeah,
and
she really
just and I actually wrote down just the look on Anisha's face when that was the response that she got. She is like, that was like the first tidbit of maybe information that she's rethinking all this 16 years of animosity towards her, which is rightfully granted and given that based on the past. So,
well, yeah, and I mean that look, I saw a bit of a glimmer of respect there as well. It wasn't just like, holy shit, she's serious. Even though her expression was very guarded. I mean, I've got to give credit to the actress, because, you know, she really did play Anisha well, and right down to like the look in her eyes, and there was a bit of a glimmer of respect there as well, which wasn't surprising after what Nala said, but at the same time it was, because it was a very, like you said, it was a very big moment. It was quite ominous.
One of the other things I wrote down that I know is pretty quickly is that in the year 3192, Braka knows about the Pledge of Allegiance. Because his talk about I'm trying to think of the word now.
But he's done his research on the Federation.
Either he's just trivial knowledge, or I can't think of the word now. It's driving me nuts because I'm guilty of it too. Just like that, just the random stuff that I think of and recall.
Oh yeah, he is very good at doing that. But one thing that I've noticed about Braka throughout this is, and it was apparent very quickly with him as well, he has done a lot of research on the Federation. He's done a lot of research on his enemy, you know, as one should with their enemy, you know. I do agree with that. Even though, you know, the Federation wasn't his enemy, he just saw them as that. But regardless, he did his research and he delved into the history of the Federation. And
the Pledge of Allegiance predates the Federation by centuries, so
yeah, but the amount of research that he's doing, it doesn't surprise me that he knows that, because like I say, he has done very deep research on his enemy, and he has tried to leave no stone unturned, because not only does he want to understand the Federation and know everything about them to try and expose weakness, he would have also have done research on humanity itself. And for that, he would have had to have gone way back before the Federation to get a better understanding of humanity. He delved deep down the rabbit hole with that one.
Oh, actually, figured out the word that I was looking for earlier, that not related to what I was just talking about, but when I was writing my notes down, the scenes in the atrium when the trial began, it's the again, the music. I wrote creepy and distorted, but now I just realized I was looking for disjointed, just the way that the music just kind of like went all over the place, just kind of maybe tapped into Braka's mind just a little bit.
Yeah, I got that as well, and it's almost like the music was trying to explain the disarray in his mind and how fragmented his mind is. It was so on point, the music in this episode. It really was. It actually, I mean, for me anyway, it did as much for the scenes as body language and reaction and words, because it added that extra level of understanding and emotion as well.
But the backup just half a step when Reno was rallying the troops, rallying the cadets to say, okay, here's the situation, let's make a plan, what's the plan? And everyone's just throwing out all these great ideas,
yeah,
but and then Darum being the cocky little he is, just like in. I like that idea. I'm going to duck you points for the attitude, though.
Yeah, but it was such a good scene. It
Oh,
really
totally.
was. And the way, like, as soon as they walked onto the bridge, they knew what stations they were taking. They didn't have to be told. And yeah, fair enough. There was a little bit of, there was a few little jabs here and there, but it was quite harmonious how they did that, even with the little bits of attitude and little quips to each other. But yeah, I really did like that. And Jet is really, really good at rallying people. And when she first came into Trek in Discovery, you'd have never have thought that about her. But she's got this way. You see, one of the reasons I love Jet is that she is very much like me, as in she will just say it how it is. And she won't really give a crap about how it comes out, because sometimes there's no other way to say it. And it's like she said, if we succeed, we live. If we fail, we all die.
Well, it's like, no, if we all make it through, yeah, you'll pass the class, but yeah, if not gonna matter. We're dead.
Yeah, and I mean, she can come across as very flippant and very not in the moment, as well as a very I don't care attitude, but she really does. And I mean, I said this backstage, and I'm going to say it now. She for me, she was the MVP of the entire episode.
I agree.
And I mean, when she took Caleb to sort the warp core out, although before I start on that, just when Genesis sat down in the chair, and then she says,
I think I have to pee.
I need to pee. I was cackling so much at that, because I'm just like, do you know what? I could see myself doing. I really could. And it was such a real life scenario that could potentially happen. You're about to go into this really important thing, and then you blather into it.
And again, yeah, the music, it builds up. I think I have to pee. Whoomp.
Exactly. And it was like this really like proud moment for her, and then she sat down and it's just like, hold on, I think I need to pee. And I'm just like, that is the realness that I love. And now, so many people are saying that like Discovery Academy and all that jazz is really woke and stuff like that, but to some degree it's also more real because of little things like that. It just makes it more real, having something so silly like that in it, because it does happen. It does. And yeah, so I was like, I had to pause it because I was like laughing really, really much at
I
that.
got a chuckle out of it. I not like a pause moment chuckle, but still it made me laugh. But what definitely gave me a bit of a chortle was after the fact that Darren just got tired of going at 1/8 impulse, so he decided to push it to 1/4 impulse, and things start blowing up around them. And say so when Reno started delegating, oh, yeah,
Woo!
but yeah, when Reno started
Back.
delegating where everyone to go, is they just say, Remy, steer clear of everything.
Yeah. But she made a good point as well. We learn more when we fail than we do when we succeed.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we learn more when things go wrong than when things go right. And she is very good at getting those little things in there. And just a story about totaling 3 shuttles. I loved.
And again, I write my notes down, then I write it a certain way. I say, what the frick did I write?
Oh, this is why I don't like taking notes, because I struggle writing by hand because of certain conditions and that. But
Yeah.
I can't understand my notes when I write them a lot of the time. That's why I stopped taking them.
No, but with Caleb and Reno and engineering, Caleb's talking down of himself, saying, "I'm stupid, I'm shit," and Reno's just like, "Cue the violins."
Yeah.
Saying she really cares about the kids, but she also practices tough love. It's just like you got to buck up, kiddo, kind of attitude.
Yeah, and now this conversation between Jet and Caleb is one of my favorite conversations of the entire season. In all honesty, because it was raw, it was quite brutal from both sides, and yet there was so much feeling in it, and it was very big in a sense. And you know, I mean, when you think about, you know, emotional conversations and getting people to see their inner worth and things like that, you don't necessarily think of Jet Reno at first. She's probably not even in the top 10 of people to be able to do that, but she was on point in everything she said. And even when Caleb said, I'm probably still going to be an arrogant little shit, and she's just like, I have no doubt about that. And she did not, because I mean, she does not give placations in any way, shape, or form. And again, that's another thing I like about her. But even when she was just like, oh, cue the violins, she didn't come across as being nasty with it. I mean, to some people it could have done, but for me, she didn't come across as being nasty or unfeeling. And then the way she followed that up, it was for me, it was a beautiful moment, because it was, even though it was a very emotional moment, it so wasn't at the same time, because it was Jet and Caleb.
Yeah.
And they're probably the two most like standoffish people in the season. And yet they managed to have that really deep discussion full of emotion without it being emotional. And it was brilliant. Travis, you've been very quiet. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
gonna chime in, my sweet? Or are you getting your phaser and handbag ready?
No, nothing like that. I just been listening to you know, everybody's thoughts and opinions and stuff and everything. Yeah, just waiting on my turn.
Well, your turn is now, sir.
Well, I mean, like I know Phil said it. I mean, I consider myself old school. I'm not gonna try to crap on somebody else's, especially the new generations of people who like in Star Trek and everything. I try to be. I try to be as for me. Hey, Dennis. I try to be as logical as I can to go into this uh into these new shows and stuff and these new series and stuff and everything else. And because it's the season finale and stuff and everything else, I can't say it's a horrible show, but as a 47-year-old man, and hits that 47. Anybody get the Omega 47 in this episode? Omega 47.
Well, yeah, just
47.
like that is
Anybody? Go ahead, Dave.
that is probably the biggest 47 drop in all of Star Trek, in my opinion. I don't know if it was intent. It could mean one of two things. One, the 47 that's been in all of Star Trek since Next Generation, the 42 with interest. Or two, it could be a small dig at the 47th president of the United States.
Oh,
you weren't thinking that, dude?
No, I was not thinking that, but that's a really good. That's a really good. Get back to what I was saying because I like that, Dave. What I was saying is that this series is focused for I'm not going to say for young people, but it's for I guess a new ideas for young people and stuff and everything. But yeah, I'm almost hitting 50 years old. And yeah, one time I was, at their age and stuff and everything. But okay, to me, the one standout is y'all say y'all standouts and stuff. My standout was Tatiana Maslany, who played Anisha Mir. Tatiana did a really good job at Anisha Mir in the sense that she had a very she had I like when people look at the very individual that caused you harm, the very individual that really when they put the when these so-called put the Federation on trial, it was almost like what Sean Ferrick said. It was putting Nala on trial. It wasn't the Federation per se, it was her. And I
Yep.
really liked that because it was like, yes, I did something that's, she basically told her, look, you did something that caused the life of a Federation officer and stuff. But yet, I mean, you stole the X amount of 15 years. Thank you, William. Yes, I'm almost in a few more years, I'm gonna be 50 years old and stuff. The It's so crazy to see that in this particular episode, it wasn't so much about like battles and stuff and everything else. It was almost in the court, like not the court, a court of public opinion because they had what's that called VNN instead of CNN.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. It was basically putting the Federation on trial and stuff. I like how Anisha was basically, when she even told you pointed out earlier too, Dave, how she told Nala, if my son dies, I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, yeah, but stuff like that. No, I'm like, you know what? You really think that? You think I'm doing you a favor? I'll be doing myself a favor if I kill you because of my son and stuff and everything else. To me, Nala wants to come off as the holier than thou person, and she wants to like try to save everybody and wants to she wants to make everything all nice and humbly and everything else. I really can't stand that character. I can't stand that character because she's like a goody two shoe, and she comes off as a goody two shoe and stuff and everything because she wants to. It's like she wants everybody to like her in some ways, and it's like I can't stand that. It's like you tore a family apart, and now you're trying to rectify it and try to say, I'm going to, force Caleb to do this, join this organization and stuff, and now, make him, all nice and stuff and everything, because he was doing, I'm not saying he was doing fine on his own, but like, somebody who's on their own has a better understanding of what life is about and everything else and stuff. Yeah. The whole thing when Anisha was basically laying down why she wants to, as she call it, dance on her grave, and wants her to feel every bit of what she felt for the last 15 years and stuff. Uh, yeah, it really hit home to how Tatiana really did in this way when she was in the character of Anisha and stuff about, look, yes, I was indirectly part of, a Federation officer dying and stuff and whatnot and everything else, but like, it I can't imagine, be like, oh yeah, your son is going to be ward of the Federation and you're going to go off to prison and stuff and everything. Her son even went to he actually escaped and he was on his own at 6 years old, which I applaud that. I mean, 6-year-old going off and being on their own for, that takes character. That takes character and that takes a lot. If you're 6 years old and you can live in the world and you can survive and grow up to be an adult and survive, I salute you to that and everything else and stuff. In this particular episode too, when they had the trial, basically when Nus Braka was, saying that not the colony, but the planet he was on, he said that they seen all the supply ships and stuff and everything else. Um, he and I know y'all pointed that out earlier about, it came full circle about him looking at it. He was looking at it as a child, stuff like that. If he was to stick to his convictions instead of being, from that little child perspective and stuff like that, he could have actually really done some really serious damage to the Federation if he wanted to and stuff and everything. But he was so more for the pomp and circumstance of showing, putting this whole thing, this grandiose trial and stuff and everything else. It's like, look, if it was me in that situation, I wouldn't make a spectacle of it. Something like this, it would have been, I would go for a surgical strike, not, look, this is what we're going to do and everything else and stuff. The possibility he's basically holding the Federation uh, so much hostage in a sense, because guess what? In this particular episode, the doctor gave them clues and stuff like that. Even the board didn't understand how to stabilize Omega. For some reason now we
Omega 1.
that they have according to Nala, Omega was not developed for a weapon. It was developed for an alternative fuel or like the power source and stuff. And guess what? Now they have a huge unlimited. I mean, was it good, Dave?
Yes, it
Was it
was.
good? Okay, it was good.
It's like once you pop, you can't stop it. Not to dig off of a Pringles jingle, but
Federation a new, I guess, unlimited power source and stuff and everything else. But in the meantime, doing this whole trial thing. Oh, take care, William. You too. You be safe. Thank you, and live long and prosper. This whole thing, in a sense, seeing, I mean, yes, the whole crew, but not the crew, but the cadets was hidden in the airlock where, it was like, okay, you hid them in the airlock until, they faked their, destruction and stuff. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they hate their they hid in the airlock, and then when they came out and stuff and everything, they basically, as you know, I think Katie put it, they took stations and stuff and everything, because basically they were like, yeah, you know what, all hands on deck and stuff and everything else. Needs to say, it showed, you know, it showed what, in a sense, these young people could be, you know, good officers in the future and stuff and everything else. But like, you know, the thing about Durham, you know, he was impatient. He pushed him into a gravitational eddy. And that's what caused the, you know, stuff like that. It was like that being impatient. And you know what? It was a learning curve. It's like, look, you know, there's a reason why you was going at a pace, at a slow pace and stuff and everything. It wasn't like, you know, yes, you wanted to get there, you want to get to, you know, your destination, but you want to get there in peace and stuff and everything. You don't want to get there or not get there and stuff. You want to have a, you know, vehicle that you can able to get to your destination, leave from the destination. Well, it was pretty interesting to see how they were interacting under pressure versus the Miyazaki incident, you know, several episodes back and stuff and everything else. It's like, look, you're gonna have to understand this is a real world and everything. People will die. You know, you're gonna understand that there are going to be things that
Consequences.
you're gonna have to uh you're gonna have to put your emotions aside and get down to it and everything else. Like, you know, to anybody who's a fan, look, I'm just speaking for me and everything. I'm speaking for my name. You know, I understand if somebody was in the, you know, like how Sam was about the doctor and stuff and everything else, but it's like, you know, not a real life form, but one of these computer generated image and stuff and everything else. You know, it's like, you know, you don't have any emotions. You know, you have simulated emotions and stuff like that, but like, you know, you can't be, you can't understand like how to be a logical. Yes, yes. I mean, uh, I don't know. There's something about her. There's something about that character that, you know, that irks me. That just like, you know, what is it? It seems like she wants everybody to like her, to kiss her butt or something. I don't know. It's just something about, you know, Nala, that it's like, what is it that there is something, there's something about her. If I met somebody like that in real life, somebody like that and everything else, I almost want to push them down and be like, you know, quit acting fake. Or if you're not acting fake, if that's really you, if that's who you really are, then you know what? Get out of my face. You know,
Well,
because I don't know.
no, you're saying push down. It wouldn't take much because I didn't realize how short Holly Hunter actually
He
is.
is very short. You
She's
see how
five foot
big
two.
Caleb is compared to her?
Yeah,
She's
I
the
say
same
that's
height as me.
yeah, I think I don't know the exact height of the actor that plays Caleb, but yeah, I mean he was towering over it. It's like, and so I looked at how
I
what
think
is
he's
Helen Hunt?
6'2".
Yeah, so he's almost got a full 12 inches on her.
Yeah, I think he's yeah, because I know that Holly Hunter is the same height as me. But hold on.
But yeah, Holly Hunter's 5'2". So
Yeah, same height as me, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm hobbit sized.
I think it's great though that Jaden was the person
I
that
was right. He's 6'2".
okay, cool. So yeah, 12 inches. Giggity.
Yeah. He's the same height as my best friend Emma.
But
But can I just
when yeah, Jaden's hearing Sam and Genesis talking their nonsense, and they're just like in the Tamsa language just made me think of Thaddeus, the story of Riker's son in season 1 of Picard, when he created his own language that he and his sister were able to speak. Kestra. It took me a second to remember her name, but
yeah.
but yeah, say when he clued in on it. Sorry. been another long day.
Hold on a
What is it
minute.
not?
You still don't believe who are in love?
That's a good question. Elaborate, Dennis.
You-
But yeah, say the doctor. He's just like, that's what I'm trying to say, and they figured it out. And the Ruben, Caleb and Genesis. No, that I think they're just nothing. Something might happen in second season, but I think they're just friends, nothing more. Because Caleb and Tamira, they're very much connected, especially when they went back to that special place with all the flowers and stuff.
I like how they push. They try to push relationships so fast. You know, they try to like force people to hook up, like, or to try to pair up real quick and everything else. It's like, you know,
It's one of the downfalls to only doing 10 episodes in a season.
I'm just saying, just
They
in
gotta
general,
gotta
regardless
rush it, yeah.
if it was 26, it was 26 episodes, stuff like that. I just like, you know, let's stick to, you know, just characters, you know, and stuff, and not worry about relationships and, you know, who's like who and stuff and everything else. Who cares? Y'all work together. You know, if what y'all doing behind your closed doors, that's y'all business. But you know, nobody want to see that.
Hold on a minute. You never complained, like when we did the Tom and Balana episode, and when we've done episodes that revolve around Tom and Balana's relationship, you have never ever said anything about like that their relationship.
They took the time. They took their time. It was a long.
But also, what you've just said is basically screw having relationships in Trek. We don't want to see that. You work together and all this, that, and the other, and yet on the flip side of that, you're still you have no problems with Tom and Balana or any of the other relationships.
Because they had 20 plus episodes to flush that out. Whereas this, they only got.
Caleb and Tamira have got to this point of basically the I love yous because it's been like a full year at the Academy in 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you know, you know. You know, it's... They were drawn to each other from the off. And...
Like the writing pushed them.
I don't necessarily believe it was the writing that pushed them. One criticism that I do have about Academy, which I openly said on our Discord server, was that because it's only, I mean, I can't remember the exact words I used, but because it's only 10 episodes, there has been a lot of jumps in time, and we don't know what's happened in between, so we've got to fill in the gaps for ourselves. And these 10 episodes have basically been one whole academic year at the Academy. And like right from the off, Caleb and Tamira were very drawn to each other. She was actually very drawn to him. She sought him out when he was trying to escape. And, you know, I do believe that they should have stretched it out even to like 13 episodes.
Just 13, 15, yeah.
Yeah, just so that we could see a little bit more. I mean, me, myself, and I don't mind it because I can see the development and the progress in each episode, regardless of the time that's lapsed, like 3 months in between in between one episode and like a month here and things like that. But I'm able to see that and fill in those gaps. And the actors did a very good job with it because you could see the difference in how their characters interacted, and you could see progress there. But unfortunately, a lot of people want every little thing laid out for them because they don't want to do any work themselves. And I've seen it a hell of a lot. I really, really have. And the amount, and not just with Trek, but with other series that have only had like short seasons, and there's been like months in between, or like even between seasons, you know, it ends in the January and then it picks up again in the September, and there's been like 6 months between each season. And the amount of times I've heard people say, oh yeah, but what happened, you know, why all of a sudden is this happening? That was only mentioned, so why is it in full flow now? And I'm just like, hold on a minute, the 6 months that's passed, do you think that they were just sat down twiddling their thumbs? These characters, like behind the scenes, obviously, within that gap that we haven't seen, they've been putting this into motion. They've built this business up. They have created this, and they're just like, oh yeah, but it should have been shown. And I'm like, why should every little detail be shown on screen? You know, you've got a brain, use it. Okay, I didn't phrase it very well, but you know, I mean, regardless of any gaps, yes, it did seem to go pretty quick. However, you know, I've still enjoyed it. I still followed it perfectly well. There's nothing about the storyline, character interactions, character development, anything. There's nothing about it that I'm lagging on. But I do agree with a lot of people that it could have been stretched out even for another 3 to 5 episodes if they weren't going to do like a full season. Well, what I call a full season, which is like 24 episodes. Even if it was just the 12, you know, for like half a season. I mean, I'd prefer the 13 or the 15 because I don't like even numbers. But, you know, it for those who are rather incapable or unwilling to use their imagination and to see deeper into it, then yeah, it could have done to have had a few more episodes. But I'm happy with how it went. I am, because the character development, relationship development, progress in their learning, even though you didn't really see much of them in class, but you know, you could see how far they were coming because of what they were doing. And you know, you don't have to see every detail in order to a show. I feel.
You know what? One thing for me, I mean, I'm just I throw this out there, and I don't know if anybody probably you people see this. I don't care for romantic relationships. I don't care for anything. To development, one thing, you know, friendship, yeah, that's one thing, but I don't care for romantic. I could watch an entire Star Trek series without any kind of romanticism, you know, because sometimes romanticism can be almost like, you know, in my opinion and stuff and everything else. I don't care for, you know, oh, who likes who and this and that and everything else. I'm like, no, I want to see a show with good characters and, you know, what the show is about and everything else. I personally just like, you know, let's write a Star Trek series without romanticism and stuff and everything else. Let's stick to, like, you know, stuff that can be just science, friendship in a sense, you know, and done with that and everything else and move on. Phil, welcome.
Well, the 10 episode for season 2 is already in the can, so it's in post productions. Hopefully, they'll do a lot of that into the second season, just more Trying to think of the
Yeah.
word, the phrasing,
Phil,
but
we're glad that you joined us.
Yeah. My apologies about last week. A bit of a goof up. A friend of mine was coming out of town, and I was like, yeah, come on down. And then it was until like he was coming up. I thought, oh crap, I have the thing tonight. So I was sure. I'm swear up and down in my head that I messaged Dave that I wouldn't be on. If I did, it'd be late. But we were out really late, later than I intended. So I just I apologize. It was just. And I realized I
Hakuna
didn't
Matata.
message him, and I don't know. Hopefully, I didn't message the wrong person. But but I've done that a few times. I've quickly went and sent a message, and then realized like hours later I just messaged completely the wrong person. So,
You can always message me too. You can throw a message in.
yeah, maybe I should
say
keep that
hi.
in mind. Message a couple of people, then yeah, yeah. No, but it was just it happened so quickly, and I just yeah. But
That's
I'm
nice.
here
Yeah.
tonight. So.
Yeah. I mean, did you catch? I mean, from last week episode and
Yeah.
this week or the last two episodes, was you able to catch up on everything?
Yeah.
This,
I've watched
Starfleet
our
Academy?
conclusion. So yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm okay with it. It's I'm a lot of what happened in the last. How should I put this? A lot of what happened in the last two episodes. I feel like I wish this was stuff that would have happened earlier. I guess when the show started, something I had in mind that I was kind of hoping it might be. You remember, like in Star Trek 2, that they had the training academy, like they had the training crew that was on board. I was kind of thought it would be more like that. Maybe it would be like maybe they'd have some training on a station or on Earth or wherever, and then they'd go on to ships and they would be in like real life situations on a ship on training missions. And so I was expecting more something like that, but so and then caught up in some sort of situation. So I guess in my head I had different expectations for what the show would be. It felt like this whole series was kind of split into two, because the first part did feel very like I don't know, like the college kids kind of thing, their thing, and then the second half is now like shit hits the fan, and then it all kind of like things start happening. So yeah, I mean it's I'm not I'm how do I put this? I'm okay with this series. I think if there's people who are enjoying it, that's great. It was maybe not one of my favorites in the list of Star Trek series. There was some really good stuff, I thought, in the last couple of episodes. Some really good suspenseful moments and good things with the some really great effects in that show. There was one moment that was definitely, I feel like they were inspired from the Star Trek 2009 movie, where they went into warp and then they went into the clouds of the planet and it lifted out. It was like that's I knew that. Yeah, so there was definitely a nod off to that. So because that's a great, I thought that was a cool moment in that movie.
I wrote that in there. Yeah, Shades of Trek 09.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, Phil, because my mind went straight back to there as well.
To that, is that moment? Yeah. And the funny thing is, I just watched that moment on YouTube like a few nights before I watched it, and so that's why it was like click. I'm like, yeah, that's they definitely took a big nod from that, and then some. But the last shot too.
What I wrote before that is like Reno's "Show me pretty streaks of light."
Oh
yeah, I love that.
That's so Reno. That's probably one of the best like engage orders I've heard. It's like, because you've got engage, you've got hit it, you've got warp me, you've got make the ship go fast now.
Make it so.
And engage the core.
Yeah, you got all them. But no, that was brilliant.
Showing pretty streaks of light.
The very final shot too, I thought was interesting. It was sort of almost let me explain. I almost thought it was kind of a George Lucas type moment. The reason I say that is the very final shot where it shows them all lined up arm in arm. I was expecting them to all take a bow, actually.
Yeah.
Backs up and it was
Yeah,
curtains
yeah, the
closed.
way, yeah, with the music that was the song that was playing, yeah, it just kind
The
of
song
gave
is a nice
that.
song. I like the song they played in the credits, but yeah.
But yeah, the show that all the main characters from the first season were part of the class of 3196, which I found a little odd. Strange New Pod found that equally odd. Just like, why is Nus Braka part of the class of 3196? Why is the Doctor part of the class of 3196? Why is Laura part of 31? She already graduated. And same with Nala Ake. She graduated hundreds of years before 3196.
They're the instructors. Basically, the instructors. They're.
I think it was just. You see, I really like that. I loved what they did with that.
Oh yeah, and actually using real photos of the actors when they were younger. Because I mean, so most of them were kids, but Admiral Vance was like Oded. He was like a young adult in his. And...
Yeah, but I did like that. All right, yeah, fair enough. Nus Braka and Nala and is it Lorna?
Laura
yeah, yeah, and the Doctor, and Jet as well. That they graduated God knows how long ago. But it was nice that they were included, even Braka. Because it was all of them.
Yeah, but
it was because of how intense it was, and I mean, especially his presence in the show was very intense. I like that he was included, as much as I don't like him. He is a whiny toddler, and he was pulled up about it. Eventually, finally.
Well, if you get a chance, I mean, well, you can just watch Ups and Downs from Trek Culture, because Sean broke down all the little snippets that everyone, all those things wrote down. But it's like some of them are quite humorous. I didn't have a chance to write it down because I had so much stuff I had to do today, and when I rewatched it, I didn't have a chance to it all down. But
yeah, I tried reading little bits, but it just went too fast, and by the time I watched it, I didn't have time to go back and pause.
Yeah, I was going to say pause and pause. But I watched it Thursday morning last week before I went out to work, and so I could partake in SNP's podcast that night when I got home. So
yeah, you see, I didn't watch it until tonight. I did mean to watch the entire series, the entire season, and then watch this, but things have gotten away from me this last week. So
you could have had time to make a pineapple cake.
No, the only place pineapple belongs is on pizza.
You know what? I don't remember the last time I've had a pineapple upside down cake. But yeah, Sam's little quip about that, just like, this is an algorithm, not a pineapple cake. It takes time.
Yeah, I love that. You see, one thing that I've noticed with a lot of the complaints about Academy are the same complaints that were given about the Section 31 movie. And that is, nobody would say stuff like that in such a tense situation. And I'm just like, excuse me? Yes, they would.
Yeah, you diffuse a tense moment with humor.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, could you imagine us lot being on a Section 31 mission, or even in the Academy together? Do you really think that even during a tense situation, one of us wouldn't crack a joke or say something like what Sam said? Guaranteed we would.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a natural thing to try and, like you said, to diffuse tension. And I don't understand why people have so much against that. I mean, I've been in some like pretty serious situations in my life, and you know, I've tried diffusing it with humor, or something's just popped out of my mouth that's crossed my mind, and it's been so not right.
Every
But
single
it
movie
has
has
to
done that too. You can't tell me that your favorite movie, they were in a tense situation, they've done that somewhere. So
yeah,
that's kind of a common trope, and it's used cinematically too to ease the tension a little bit of a scene. So
well, yeah, but also real life, and this is something that actually happened. When I was 6 years old, now bearing in mind I was a kid, but I would, you know, I've still got that childlike mindset sometimes as well. With the, you know, saying the first thing that pops into my head. I wasn't allowed to go to my grandfather's funeral because I was deemed too young, but I was allowed to go to the burying of his ashes at his grave. And it was all somber and all that. And my grandfather had been cremated. So obviously the box was only about like this big. And I just went, Mum. And she went, what's wrong? And I went, how does Grandad fit in a box that small? And even the person who was giving the service, I don't think he was an actual priest, but you know, even he laughed, and you know, it was like a big weight had been lifted. But I just said the first thing that came into my head. I'm innately curious, and I can't help asking questions. That's one thing that hasn't left me. But yeah, these things do happen. And even as an adult, you know, I've been in some really like serious situations, and I've just bust out laughing. It's a kind of human nature, and it's a natural thing to do. So when people start going on about things like that, I get a little bit uppity about it, because it is a natural thing to do. Like Phil said, you know, it's something that helps to diffuse the tension.
is that me?
Well, one thing about tension when Nala's making her final plea for her case, I say just little by little, Anisha's starting to feel it a bit more, but when she finally came to the verdict of guilty, Brock was actually shocked. I think he was going to think that she's going to say not guilty, but when he's like, but then of course when it finally clicked in his head, he's just like, you know, oh my God, she said guilty. You are screwed. You are, you're SOL. You're up the creek without a paddle. You're done. You're toast. He was just eating up that verdict at that after he just kind of keyed in on it, and then Caleb shows up.
Yeah, I really like that distraction. Yeah. And the speech he gave was not only a declaration of love for his mother, but he basically told everyone what Starfleet is. And my apologies. But this is what I've been saying all along. is Academy does embody everything that Starfleet is and what Star Trek is at its core. And Caleb, within his speech, rounded that up very nicely.
Oh yeah.
Is there yeah. Well, if anyone can do that, it's Paul Giamatti.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad he did kind of take that to an nth degree. He was one of the more entertaining aspects of that for me. I like Paul Giamatti.
Giving that whole Caleb giving that whole speech and stuff and everything else. I'm like, oh, Caleb, look, you know what? I was rooting for you and stuff like that, but then he gave that speech. I was kind of like, womp womp womp. No,
Oh
like,
yeah.
really?
And of course,
What-
yeah, Brock was just saying that's just brainwashing talking. That's not him. He's not talking from the heart. He's lying.
Exactly. I was like, come on now. That's what you know, the whole thing with Michael Eddington when he told Cisco, you know, about the Federation, about what he think of the Federation. And then Garrick and Quark, when they're you know, their talk about like, you know, how insidious the Federation is and stuff and everything. You know, I look back, I'm like, oh, come on now. Y'all gonna fall. I had high hopes for him, and then when he gave that whole yada yada speech about like, you know, oh, I found friends and Starfleet and all this and everything else and blah blah blah. I'm like, you know, that tiny violin I came it started coming out and everything else. I was like, oh, here we go again. No. I thought I had high hopes for you and stuff and everything, but like, you know, you went there to, you know, say all this stuff, and I knew how all this was going to end. It's like, you know, he didn't die. We saw that he got rearrested again, basically, and stuff. And you know, it was like, you know, it's gonna end in, you know, this whole. It wasn't a cliffhanger season finale or anything like that, but it ended with all this, and then, you know, it kind of irked me to see Nala just, oh, you know, she was just going on and everything else and stuff, and like, look, I put a family back together again that I split up. You know, it's like, oh, she wants to feel good about herself and other stuff. I was almost wanting to puke and stuff and everything. But yeah, you know, like I said, this show, in a sense, wasn't really for me. I watched it, but it's not really for me and stuff. I was done with it. I don't know what the season 2 is gonna be, but it was okay. Other people like it, yes, but
Now, 5-second warning for people that don't want to know. Take out your earbuds or just mute your
Dave.
3, 2. Season 2 is going to be a cliffhanger.
Oh,
Okay.
so you already know that season 2 is gonna be
Yeah. They've announced how that's going to end. So,
and you know what we don't know about because of this everything that's going on with the acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery and all those stuff.
exactly, and all that
And
rigmarole. But yeah, that's what they got planned for season 2. So,
yeah.
and Katie will just like, okay.
I don't want to know. You see, another reason why I don't like spoilers and why I am so adamant that I don't want to know anything about anything.
Well, that was one Hurricane spoiler right there that I gave, but
also, you see, for me, like the last movie trailer that I watched was for Thor: Love and Thunder. And I'm just like, that looks absolutely amazing. I watched it and I'm just like, holy crap. They literally put everything good about it into the trailer. The rest of it was just
garbage.
Yeah. And I'm just like, do you know what? I'm not even going to watch movie trailers anymore because that was a very big disappointment because I had such high hopes. And it made me go into it having high hopes. Whereas now, like since then, going into something, I'm going into it blind. I've got no expectations. I am going into it completely neutral. So I can have more of an objective opinion on it and view it more objectively, even when it comes to Star Trek. You know, I go into it purely a blank canvas of thought. And I think that's why I've enjoyed Academy so much, because I went into it with no form of spoilers. I didn't know what to expect. I had no expectations. I was a completely blank canvas. But not a lot of people do that. They seek out the spoilers. They seek out the trailers, like the teaser trailers and information about what's to come. And they can be like, oh, that sounds rubbish. So they'll go into it believing that it's going to be not very good. And that will cloud their judgment, their viewing experience, or they will see these little teaser trailers and be like, oh my God, that is absolutely fantastic. And then they'll watch it and they'll have such high hopes, they'll be disappointed because it's not up to their standard. And it is very sad that people do that, in my opinion. Because
admittedly, I've started to avoid trailers a lot, because I do find, I have to admit, they really do like to spoil way too much in the trailers a lot, and then it kind of loses something in cinema. Apparently, like, I really want to go see the Ryan Gosling space movie. I forget what it's called. It's out next weekend. The science fiction movie with Ryan Gosling that's out. It's based on a popular novel. What's that?
Oh, I don't know.
It's getting a lot of hype, actually, but apparently it's based on it. But apparently, this trailer spoiled something really big in that. And apparently, people were really ticked off about it. Everybody was like, "Why did you ruin that? That was such a surprise in the book, and you've actually just gone and put it right in the trailer."
Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. That's
actually does look pretty good.
You know, I hear this, you know, question, because I hear you guys talk about, being spoiled and stuff and everything else. The objective of a trailer is to hook you into the movie.
Yeah.
It's to get you into the movie, to see what it is and stuff and everything. It's not to spoil, it's not to spoil anything.
It's 2026, Travis.
It's to hook you, huh?
Yeah.
I said it's 2026 though, Travis.
I watch trailers all the time. I keep my expectations, to be like, okay, you know what? This looked promising. I've seen some things, stuff like that. But like I said, the job description of a trailer is to get you hooked in, to like say, oh yeah, okay, that looks like it's going to be interesting. It's not giving any plot details, the synopsis and stuff like that. It is to get you to wonder just how good this movie is. But if they start giving away the trailers, there have been trailers who give a little bit too much away, in the sense of like, oh yeah, that right there turns people off. Yeah. But the objective is to hook you in to go see the movie in the beginning stuff. Like when Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, when it came out years ago and everything, I remember seeing it and I was like, yeah, I did not know what to do. I think it was pretty cool seeing this, big blue wave and everything else and stuff and whatnot and everything. Star Trek Generations. They showed, I didn't know what the synopsis was. They showed, the trailer. I was hooked on the trailer. I said, I can't wait to see this. This went Friends That Weekend and stuff like that. But I still had a blast. I came out, me and my friends, we were just talking about it. We were just going on. We went back to one of my friends' house to spend the night. We stayed up till probably about 2 a.m. just talking about the movie and stuff and everything else. It's one of those things where trailers are meant to, arouse your curiosity, not to make you feel like, oh my god, I know everything about I need to know in
Yeah.
what the movie is about and everything without knowing the entire synopsis of the entire movie and stuff. It's to just to
Here's
get your teeth. Just what's that saying? You know, give you a little bit of sprinkle without giving you the whole taste.
here's a little sprinkle
And it's
for you. 20 years 20 years in the making, man. It's
I know.
he's finally doing it. He's finally doing this. 20 years in the making. It's supposed to come out in next year. Doing it all on his own budget, just like the last time. The resurrection of the Christ is coming out. Mel Gibson is back.
Dear.
You're right, Dennis. The new Superman movie, I like that. It didn't give much away. I didn't even know what the synopsis was. I still watch the trailer. It didn't give much away. Yeah, they teased. They know. Well, we knew Crypto was going to be in it,
Superman was like
but
that.
we didn't know what his what the dog role was going to be. It was. I'm not spoiling for anybody. It was interesting because you thought it was going to be cheesy. No, it wasn't cheesy. That you having Crypto in the movie and stuff. He actually, there is a purpose that he serves. A couple of times. It was pretty neat and stuff and everything. But oh no, it's sad that we get that they movie studios put out trailers that don't hook people in. It feel like people are giving almost the entire storyline just in the first in 2 minutes.
It
Trailer stuff.
makes no sense because that defeats the purpose of getting people in the movie. If you know what the frick how it's going to end, it's like, why go? Wait for it to come out on video.
Do you know what?
and
I don't even read blurbs on the back of books and like the synopsis for books or anything like that.
Oh, I do.
What I will do is, because I see a lot of book advertisement. I mean, this is how I got into a full 11 book series. I just so happened to come across an advertisement on Facebook. And there was the tiniest excerpt heading like a pic, because there was a picture or there was like a little video there was just like one phrase or something, and the phrase was, "You break it, you bought it, Belladonna." And that was it. That drew me in because I'm just like, hold on a minute. And then there was like a tiny excerpt from the book which connected to that quote. And I'm just like, I am really intrigued about this. It gave nothing away. There was no context to the conversation that was being had in this excerpt. But it was hilarious. But it was really intense. You could see that, you could tell that there was a lot more behind it. And I ended up getting into a full 11 book series just because of that. And that's the most I would ever want, because there's no spoiler, there's no context to it. And so I go mentally off things like that when it comes to me, like putting books in my wish list and on like my TBR. And I'm kind of the same. Pardon me. I'm kind of the same with movies and series as well.
You know what movie I can't wait though? I can't wait for the movie on the Ayatollah that Netflix is going to come out with, where it's going to be a black woman, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and the front cover is going to be a black woman and it's a Netflix joke.
Before we get like too far off on talking the episode, this is stuff that we can talk backstage at the end of the show. So I mean, if you want to take part in that, everyone, that's your chance to click on that StreamYard link so you can get it on some of the backstage hijinks. But yeah, saying after Caleb came to the trial and Braka said, "Trial's over, kids." Like, what? You're stifling me now? So he said, "Okay, you can talk." And Nala took that as an opportunity to say, "What's some of the things we taught you at the academy? Is that exobiology or exo? I wrote exobiology. I don't think that's right, but when they're talking
some form of chemistry.
Yeah, exochemistry or say what." talking, say what would create that redness, and it's thinking what color are Starfleet photon torpedoes at the time? It's like green and blue. It's like, okay, then yeah, this is not our doing. This is totally your old man. And Braka said it was he killed himself, and he's like, no, lies. He doesn't want to admit defeat, and he just goes over the top villainy. This is how it ends, as all the crowd starts popping, all the holograms popping away. He's just freaking out, and of course, being over the top, he's just like, I'm going to press the button. I'm really going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. As Sam and everyone else on the Athenas get ready to finalizing the disarm code, which Braka doesn't know that it's happening, and he presses the button. Error. He's like, just like, and just how the music just abruptly stopped when it's an error.
Yeah, now that I did like how the music kept abruptly stopping.
Yeah. And then Sam being Sam, even though she's now really 17 years old and not just 17 weeks old or however many days that she was activated, but she's just like, yeah.
Oh no, that was definitely some of like OG Sam coming out there. And I love that because it was so over the top. It was so Sam. And I think she'd been holding that in. She'd been holding all of this, like so much in for so long. And I think in season 2, I think we're going to see her more embrace her OG self. With her new self.
Her first summer break. Hope we might get like it's like, what did they do over summer vacation? And they'll talk about what they did over summer vacation. Who knows? But we didn't get to see Specialist Krebs. I was really freaking disappointed. I was hoping that would be something that we'd finally get to see at the end of the season, because saying the digital dean was just like, Specialist Krebs, something's going on with your fur fly. Specialist Krebs, something's going on with your fur fly. Your fur fly's mating with itself. Do something about it. And say, does this seem right to you? Does it seem okay? I was really, 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 really hoping to see Krebs, but maybe next semester.
I don't know why I have a feeling they'll keep that a complete secret till like the very end.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that's going to probably be one of those type of I don't know if anybody ever seen there was a show on the CW years ago. It was called Gossip Girl, and people were wondering who is Gossip Girl and stuff like that. Till the very end of the series and stuff like that, they didn't show who actually was Gossip Girl and stuff and everything. But to me, that's going to be one of those things, just like in Deep Space Nine. Anybody who remember this in Deep Space Nine, did anybody ever hear more talk?
No.
People say he talked the ears off, but you never heard him talk.
But actually, as a viewer, hear him talk, never.
I was thinking about Home Improvement. What's his name? That was always behind the fence.
Wilson.
That you never saw.
Wilson, yeah.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as soon as you turn your camera back on, is when it flips.
That the whole specialist Krebs thing? It every single time, and the fact that we didn't see him, it brought back from when I watched another series called Teen Wolf, and the lacrosse coach was always mentioning Greenberg, and he'd point to him and everything, but you never saw him. This Greenberg, he never spoke, and you never knew who the coach was pointing to, and it kind of brought back memories of that. But I liked that, and this Talaxian Furfly, I'm more disappointed that we didn't get to see him or her.
We saw a subversion of the Furfly in an episode of Voyager, but
yes, we did. But you know, I'm very disappointed that we didn't get to see the Fuzzy.
and then of course, saying saying the digital dean had a nice little dig for those that know. Say when you're going down the beta's edge, say don't forget to wear your sunscreen.
Yes, especially
Respect
straight
the local
after he
custom.
mentioned weddings.
When,
Yeah.
when they said something about like respecting, local customs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see.
Say, well, we'll all be observing the traditional wedding. Yeah, I forget how Picard said it in Nemesis, but say, but now I'm going to the gym. But yeah, we got to see Loreno together holding hands at the end too.
Oh,
so
that was so sweet. That really was, because it was very subtle, but it was very. Even though it was very subtle, it was very obvious as well. But it was nice to finally see that. Because, like I said, in this episode, Jet showed more emotion in this episode than she probably did throughout Discovery and the rest of this season. Trek fans are going to be slating Academy until the next season comes out, and probably slating predictions.
Well, here we're going to be talking about classic episodes again, so I'll bring up what we're going to bring. I had an idea what to do for next week, but I forget what it was. So we're going to do what the episode I was originally planning on doing. So we'll mention that in a few minutes because we are getting close to the 2-hour
man
mark.
trap.
What?
The man trap. TOS man trap.
No.
How about we just have a Q&A? An ask me anything.
Oh, an AMA. Oh, that's that'd be really good as like a buffer to transition into retro rewatches. All of us on here, and it just be a completely free episode. AMA shooting questions at each other. I like that.
There you go. That or a favorite Trek villain show.
Okay, so I'm going to write that idea down.
But yeah, I think that we should do something fun like that, like just a random AMA.
How about a debate, Dave?
Isn't that what we do usually?
Okay.
Yeah. No, with everybody that's in the chat, let me get ready and jump in. It'll be you.
Jump in on. That'll be a reason to get them to jump in on camera too. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. Make Dave go through the gauntlet.
Or we could do a live stream of handbags at dawn between me and Travis.
I'm confused on the handbag thing. What is it? What?
Handbag? A handbag is basically what you lot call a bloody purse.
A purse, yeah, but handbag of dawn?
Handbags at dawn. It was originally a woman's thing. It's kind of like the woman's version of pistols at dawn.
We use their phasers.
When like women get like extra bitchy at each other and like, oh, handbags at dawn, it's gonna be but it kind of like encompasses the LGBT community now, especially like really camp gay men.
What did I do with it?
Yeah. But no, I like Zach's idea for
I like Dennis's right here. Someone wrote something about Trek theology. You know what? That's a theme right there, Dave. Trek theology.
Well, no, Katie actually got me a book on Star Trek theology, and I'm just trying to remember where the frick I put it.
That'd be a good theme to have too.
Actually, I think that's
have in the back pocket. Something different, something to do in transition.
Yeah,
no, it's not theology, it's philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ultimate Star Trek in philosophy, theology.
Yeah, because I mean there's quite a few interesting chapters in here. Klingons, a cultural pastiche. We are not going to kill a day. Make it so.
Close enough, Dennis.
Confucius
Yeah.
and the Prime Directive. Aristotle and James teach
Epistemology, Dennis.
Let's see what's one of the other chapters here. Today is a good day to die. Transporters and human extinction.
Well, we just got canceled.
Oh, I can get that. The book I got you, Dave. I can get it on Audible.
Oh, there you go. The Borg as contagious collectivists, techno-totalitarian transhumanists. That's trying to say that 10 times fast.
Well, shoot. Is this about Peter Thiel and Elon Musk?
I don't know. But Q, a rude, interfering, inconsiderate, sadistic pest on a quest for justice. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Life on a holodeck. What Star Trek can teach us about the true nature of reality?
I like that.
Me
See,
too.
I didn't get a chance to even flip through that when I
We're all
bought you it, but
We're all
I do
philosophers here.
I do intend on getting that book for myself because it sounds really good.
I'm about to do that too. I wouldn't mind digging into some Star Trek philosophy. Go deep down the rabbit hole of some Star Trek universe epistemology and even how do you say it? Eschatology. Did I say it right? Into the world stuff, into the universe stuff. Star Trek edition.
See, I'm a gay boy with blonde hair, ADHD, and autism, so just like so was a lot of that stuff.
I'm just a retard.
And I'm just ditzy.
See, I'm the retard surrounded by gays. So we can say it now. We can say we're fake, gay, and retarded.
Yeah. We can say that.
I am.
But no, I think we have got some good ideas there for future shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but since I already made the graphic for next week's because it was kind of based on I'm blanking on that. I'm blanking on the name of the channel. Those two guys that are watching Star Trek for the very first time ever.
You talking about target audience?
Yeah, Dennis.
Target audience. Yes, thank you. Yeah, because they
Alex.
That's awesome. 10 books, writing and cleaning at the same time. What you are a multitasker. That is some ADHD. I love it.
Yeah, Sam. I need to catch up on my reading. I need to catch up on some of my TV shows too. But
I need to finish this book.
See, I when I did my last job driving as a medical courier, do my Eastern Washington route, which was 650 miles in 14 hours, I was listening to a lot of audiobooks. I was listening to my last audiobook on my drive down here almost 3 years ago, and I haven't finished that one yet. So it's a Strange New Worlds novel. But yeah, so I was figuring do a 2-part episode, but it's not technically a 2-parter, but the 2 episodes kind of intertwine into each other. So thinking next week we're going to watch Next Generation, going to watch Second Chances. It's the Riker transporter duplicate episode. And then the following week is going to be Defiant from Deep Space Nine, where Thomas Riker, who's here, kind of pretends to be Commander Riker and hijacks the Defiant. So I think that would be a good little non-two-part episode to talk about for the next 2 weeks, and then we could probably start diving into some of these ideas that we were tossing around, because it's probably going to be at least a couple of months before we start talking Strange New World season 4. Gosh, it's in the can, so we just need to get a launch date. It's probably going to be like with
Well, I
Lower
mean,
Decks,
don't
August,
forget this
September.
is going to be the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, so
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, so it's probably yeah. You know what? Now that you mentioned it, it's probably going to launch around September then.
I've been doing a lot of TOS rewatch.
Katie.
Yeah, one thing that I do need to say, and this is kind of like, what's the word? Non-negotiable. If Technically Trek covers any TOS episodes, I will be calling on Travis to stand in for me. I just,
You guys heard that?
Because of a guest that was on a Twitter space, I actually watched The Cage, and no.
That's a good episode though.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was one of the more tolerable episodes of TOS that I watched, and I was so thankful that William Shatner wasn't in it. That was probably my favorite part of it.
Hey, what's the deal with Bill?
But you know, that's like an hour of my life I can't get back. And I have watched TOS. I have, but you know, nobody wants me here if we cover it, if our show covers a TOS episode, because
I guess we can't cover TOS.
No, you can.
Katie won't be part of it.
I just won't be here, because I can't bring myself to watch it again. It's I appreciate it. I have a lot of respect for it. I can't watch it. Once was enough for me.
Well, if that's the case, then I think any TOS episodes that we cover, the host should just be Manu.
Yeah, he's been so busy. He's been largely MIA for the last while. I mean, he's just starting to make posts and more stuff on Facebook, but Cassie and I, we haven't spoken to him in a while, so hopefully everything is going okay with that. So
I imagine so.
But
I think Manu's been doing a lot with ClickTight as well.
ClickTight and Star Crew.
Yeah, and Star Crew. And yeah, from what he's been posting on social media, there's going to be singles released and another album this year, so which, you know, I can't wait. But yeah, so he is very busy, and also with the Lady Valerie, with her health and then the health of her parents. So, you know, we are sending so much love and so much healing to Manu's household and extended family, as always.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that
final thoughts. I was just going to say, does anybody have any final thoughts on like a brief wrap up of Academy? Travis?
Facts. Yay, teeny boppers.
What?
I mean, they're. I mean,
Really good job. I love you, Travis.
Yay, retro. I can finally join in the conversation. The retro's back.
But no,
Phil?
it's an okay show. It's an okay show. I mean, if you want to check out New Trek, for a new century, a new generation, go for it and
Well-
everything else. But
All I gotta say is the new generation is soft.
Well, see, one thing I will say, if comparing the first season finale of Starfleet Academy against Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, the Starfleet Academy ended pretty strong
Yeah, it did.
when you compare it to all those others, and TOS as well.
Yeah, and
So as
it's good.
much of a roller coaster as this first season one, I stuck through it, and I'll stick to it for season 2,
Until they
Same.
which
go
will
Phil?
probably be in another year.
Phil, what are your final thoughts on season 1 of Academy?
I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's okay.
Me too.
I'm not like I when the second season comes on, I'll watch it. Like well, I might not have been into a lot of the I know the stories. Some of them were actually okay. Yeah, some were good. I really like the look of the show. Like, I like the effects, the style of the bridge, the ships. Like, there's that aspect of it. Even the uniforms, the badge, I thought was actually kind of cool. But
And the badge, it took
do
some
actually
growing
like
for me.
that aspect of it. It didn't pull me in, I think, as much as I would have liked it to. But but we'll see. We'll see what they do with season 2. I mean, I thought the same thing about when Next Gen started. I didn't like the first season. I thought it was going to crash and burn. I was shocked when it was renewed, and I really thought it was going to crash and burn.
Dude,
after the
Patrick
first season.
Stewart thought it was going to crash and burn. He didn't even unpack. So
Yeah.
sorry, I got to realize I got to put my shoes back on because I forgot I got laundry in the laundry room. I got to go fetch.
But
So
no,
you-
my final thoughts on season 1 of Academy. It's a lot better than people are making out. It's a lot deeper than people are obviously seeing. And I am very much looking forward to season 2, even though it's going to be the final season.
Not confirmed.
Well, yeah, so far it hasn't been renewed for season 3. Hopefully it will. And I'm very much hoping to see more of everyone. I doubt. I'm kind of thinking that Caleb's mother isn't going to be part of season 2. I do hope she is, because I think she would be like just, even if she just like popped in like for 1 or 2 episodes, I think that would be good. But I doubt she's going to be coming back. But yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2. I've really enjoyed season 1, and I do intend to binge watch the entire season. Now that it's over, I do it all the time. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so doing stuff like that will help Paramount show Paramount that it is worth keeping around. So the more you watch it, the better the chances that it'll get renewed for season 3. So, because I mean they greenlit season 2 before season 1 even aired. So we'll just see what happens with that. But
Yeah.
What's that?
I said yes.
But we're going to close it out, and say we're going to close it out with the way I've been trying to. I still need to write a script for it, so it's coming from the heart, because life can suck sometimes. You feel down, you feel hopeless. There are organizations out there that you can reach out to. There are friends that you can call, text. Just don't think you can do it alone, because when you do it alone, that's when the darkness starts to overpower you and wrap you up into its tentacles. So yeah, here in North America, there's 988. You there's an equivalent there in England and other parts of Europe, I'm sure. Katie's mentioned it before when we brought it up, but yeah, don't do it alone. There are people that care about you. We all care about you. We want you to be here for next week. So
You can also go see a priest because you probably need confession.
that's an option
So,
as well for people that are
no,
on
no,
that path.
yeah, no, but for real, like if you're feeling down, find yourself, and you can find use the your little smartphone. Find yourself an adoration chapel, 24/7 perpetual adoration chapel. I don't care if you're Christian or whatever.
Or
Find a place where you can, because it's silence. You can just go sit there, and I promise you'll feel the presence of the Lord. But I digress. It's silence, and you can have a peace of mind. And sometimes
you were
we
going to say
just
something, Katie?
need away from the life, away from life.
There is one thing that I do want to say as my final thought, and this is something that I created a few years ago now, and I just want to read it out. We all have our moments of feeling useless. I know I have. We can always look back at all the good things we've accomplished, all the people we've been there for, those we've helped, and everyone we've made smile, even when we've been broken ourselves. If that doesn't help, then do me a favor. Put your hand in the center of your chest and close your eyes.
Or wave it around when you're back, Katie.
Feel that? That, my dear, is your heartbeat, proof that you're not useless. And I created that a few years ago, and I've been meaning to post it on all of my social media for a while. But you know that there are times when we don't feel, and it kind of ties into what Caleb said in this episode. You know, he felt useless. He felt like more of a burden. But you know, this right here is proof that you're not useless. You have a heartbeat. You are worth everything and more. And never forget that. However blue you're feeling. So I just wanted to close on saying that.
Oh, and thanks for that, Katie. And you made me think of a quote that I came across the other day, and it just kind of ties in. If you are struggling with substance abuse, like whether it be drugs or alcohol, there are options out there. There is Cocaine Anonymous, there's Alcoholics Anonymous, there's Narcotics Anonymous, there's Gambling Anonymous. Just look that stuff up on your social media apps, or on your Google Play or your iTunes store. But a quote that I came across recently: the goal of recovery is not to become normal. The goal is to embrace the human vocation of becoming more deeply, more fully human.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Keep yourself far from your enemies and be on guard toward your friends. A faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He that has found one has found a treasure. There is nothing so precious as a faithful friend, and no scales can measure his excellence. I was just flipping the Sir Rock 6.
Right on. Yeah, but until next week,
Godspeed.
everybody, may Spock always be with you. We'll see y'all here next week.
Toodles.